Good afternoon, ladies. I am going to show you the projects that we would have done in club this month. I'm missing all of you, and I'm hoping that we can, at least by May, maybe June, we can be back together. But for now, we're managing. So I'm going to show you the 4 projects. I'm going to do 2 demonstrations that are real simple, and then 2 techniques, and then we'll do the 2 projects and then when you send me your orders, then you can tell me whether you want the kits or you want the projects. And I will make them up for you if you just prefer that I do that, or I can send you the kits. Either way, whichever works for you. Our club meetings will be this week, Thursday and Saturday. So if your orders could be to me by then, that would be great. Our hostesses this month are Diane and Donna in Prineville, and Lorraine for our Portland club. So, to get started, we're going to start out with this card here. It's called Reversed Masking, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And this is one card that I made, and then I made them with the Magnolia, Good Morning Magnolia set. I made this card. Aren't they pretty? The colors, I just love them. Coastal Cabana and Highland Heather together are just beautiful. So we're going to start out with the cardstock is the thick cardstock, and it's 8.5 by 11, and it's 8.5 by 5.5, excuse me, and then it's scored at 4 1/4. And that's our card base. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of just regular Whisper White paper, and these measure 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in my Big Shot, and I'm going to cut the largest oval with the layering oval dies. So I'm going to do that first, and I'll just do that right on camera so you can see. I'm going to line that up as close as centered on the sheet, and then we're going to run it through. Sorry, kind of awkward way, but I'm right-handed. So, and then we've got this piece. You can use that for another project. We won't need it for this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere these 2 pieces together, and I'm going to use some repositionable adhesive, just a little bit of repositional adhesive in each corner. And then I'm going to line those up together. So then I'm going to take a sponge, and I'm going to use the sponges. I like the sponges best for this technique. And I'm going to use Coastal Cabana, and I'm just going to sponge really, 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 really well. As actually, however dark you want it. You can have it dark, you can have it light, just whichever you prefer. This is getting pretty dark. My other ones weren't quite so dark, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I like it. Everyone will turn out different. So I've got that, half of it sponged. It looks pretty, doesn't look very good right now, but it will be fine. And then I'm going to take my Highland Heather, and I'm going to sponge the rest of it. And you can go outside the lines. That's okay. It's not going to leak through because we've masked it. It's going to be the perfect oval. And I like it that it's not just dress right dress. It's a little bit uneven. That's okay. So that's all that requires. So now I'm going to take off the mask, and then you can save this mask and use it for other ones for the next time. It's reusable. And I'm going to use my little eraser and erase the adhesive so it's not showing up. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is stamp, and we're using Dandelion Wishes. So I'm going to stamp with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and that'll go right there. And then the sentiment says, "Sending well wishes your way," and that will go right there. And then the little flying things from the dandelion. Remember when we used to blow the dandelion and blow those off? There they go. So, isn't that cool? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take, so I used the largest oval, and now I'm going to use the second one down, and I'm going to bring the Big Shot back in. And I'm going to, I'll show you how I'm going to line this up. So I'm going to set that there, and I'm going to line that up and cut it so that the center part is cut out. Well, I bumped it. That won't work. Okay. Now we can get the Big Shot out of the way. So that'll be all for it. Now we have this piece that's cut out. So that will fit right back in there like a puzzle. And so I'm going to take some dimensionals, Stampin' Dimensionals, and put one in each corner. And then this is going to go on our card base. So I'm popping up this piece, and I'll show you how that goes. And that'll go right in here. And then this piece will fit right back in here, but because we're going to adhere it directly to the card base, it's going to look recessed, you might say. So it's not only are we masking, but we're recessing it. I guess that's what you'd call it. And then that will go lined up right there. And then I'm going to take my one folder and just go in and make sure that it's all down. There, that's it. Is that clever? Is that cute or what? Again, here's the other one I did, and I used the Stitch So Sweetly framelits dies, and used the Magnolia, Good Morning Magnolia, and it's a thank you card. So that's the first card. So now I'm going to put all this stuff away, and we will do our next one, which is, I'm going to show you how to use the Bouquet dots. So there's a stamp set called Bouquet dots, and it's a background stamp, but it's not a big background, it's just a small background. And in the photography field, they do Bouquet, and when you get I'm going to also send you a PDF with all the measurements and directions. And Bouquet is a thing they use for filming, for photography, and they blur out the background, and then whatever your focus is clear. So this is called Bouquet, and it's the stamp that they're using is actually called the distinctive stamp. And if you put it into the stamp pad, sometimes it gathers the ink and you'll get a blotchy look. So I'm hoping that when I do it today, that it will that it won't have that blotchy look. It will be it's just an easier way to ink up the stamp. So what we're going to do is we're starting the card again with a 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. That's the card base with a thick Whisper White cardstock. And then we're going to have Highland Heather, and this is 5 1/4 by 4, and then we're going to have a piece of Whisper White that is 5 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to take my ink pad, and I'm going to use the sponge brayer, and I'm going to ink up my brayer. Now when you ink up your brayer, you want to go with a light hand, not a heavy hand, but just a light hand, and go one way. Because if you go like this, it'll bring the ink off when you bring it back. So you want to go one way and ink it up with quite a bit of ink. And then you're going to take your stamp and you're going to ink up your stamp. So I want to get a little bit more because I can see it's not going to be real, and I don't want it too dark. I want it, you know, fairly light background. And I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it sideways because I can see better. I have to take my glasses off to see. and I'm going to try to center it just as much as I can. Probably getting my head in there, and I'm sorry. Ah, perfect. I think that looks pretty good. Might be a little off, but that's okay. We're not perfect. So then the next thing we're going to do, we're going to use the Enjoy Life stamp set, and it has the weeds, and I'm going to give it a good ink up and stamp that. And then I'm going to put one little butterfly because I think he looks good. And then the sentiment says, "Thank you kindly." So we're going to put that at the bottom. Isn't that pretty? Don't you like the way that turned out? I love that background. So then just to finish the card off, we're going to add adhesive and apply this to the Highland Heather. And then this will go on, out of adhesive. This will go on here. And there you go. Isn't that beautiful? And I do have one more that I did in Coastal Cabana. I'm kind of hooked on Highland Heather and Coastal Cabana, but I used the painted poppies, and then the positive thoughts for the sentiment, sending positive thoughts and feel good wishes. So I did that with the Coastal Cabana colors. So I think that turned out really good, and I hope you do too. You like that, and it's kind of a fun, different technique. So I'm going to put all this away so that I can have some room, and I'm going to now do the cards that we would have done in class. So the first one is, where is it? Oh, here it is. The first one is this one, and I just think it turned out so beautifully. I received this in a swap, and this is called the French Countryside Stamp Set, and it's a Z-fold card, and then this little piece tucks up underneath so it stays closed. Isn't that cool? So it's a Z-fold card, and then it says, "Wishing you the best on your special day," and then when you close it up, it goes underneath like that. Isn't that cool? So we're using Sahara Sand, and this is cut 11 inches by 4 1/4, and then it's scored at 5 1/2 and at 2 3/4, 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. So this is going to be burnished this way, and then we're going to turn this one back, and that makes your Z-fold card. So you can see the Z-fold. So then we need two pieces. We need a piece of Early Espresso, and this is 4 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then the Sahara Sand is 4 inches by 3 1/2. And so I'm going to stamp the French Countryside house on this piece. And you don't want it too high because it will tuck up underneath, and you want it to be below that. So I'm going to, when I have a bigger stamp, I just inked up my Early Espresso, and it's very inky. About 3/8 of an inch from the bottom. Perfect. And then the sentiment is from Perennial Birthday, and believe it or not, it's a wood mount set. My last wood mount set, and it's Perennial Birthday, and this one is going to go on the 3 1/2 by 2 1/4 piece of Sahara Sand. It says, "Wishing you the best on your special day." And then we're going to attach these. Oops. So I'm going to put this one on the Early Espresso, and this one goes on the Early Espresso that's 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. And again, I will have all the measurements in the PDF file that I send you that will have the measurements, pictures, and step-by-step instructions. So now those go. So we're going to adhere this one here, and it's going to be about 3/8 of an inch from the bottom. And then make sure you just get, So this about 3/8 of an inch. That will go there. And this one goes inside. And it will go here. And then we're going to punch out using the Label Me Lovely punch. And then we're going to stamp the Happy Birthday from the Layered with Kindness stamp set. So we're going to stamp that in the Early Espresso. And I'm actually going to stamp it on this piece of paper because I don't need the whole thing. I just need the center part. And then I'm going to use the Label Me, whichever one it is, Label Me Lovely. And I'm going to punch that out. And then that will be attached to the center of this. And then I'm going to add some adhesive just to the top, and this will be attached to right up here, and then your card will fit right under there. And then I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to the trees and the bushes. It just gives it, you can't really see it in the on the video, but when you add that to it, it really does make it look really pretty. Oh, and I have one little, I'm going to add this little, forgot to do this. This is a little pail with flowers and a little bird, and I'm going to add that right there. And then I'm going to add a little Wink of Stella to that too. So, there we go. And the last but not least, we have to add some gilded gems, and these are with the Ornate Suite that is a pre-release this month from Stampin' Up, and that will be in the new catalog, which is coming out soon. So I'm adding 2 of the gilded gems there, and very done. It's done. Is that cool or is that cool? I love that. And I can't wait to try it in some different products. So, on to the last one. And this card, I just fell for. I received it in a swap. And I honestly, I couldn't believe it. I hadn't ever seen anything like it, and I just loved it. So, the swap I received was this one. It says "Hello Friend," and you open it up and there's your card. So it's not on a folded card. It's actually just on a it's just on a card base, a quarter of a sheet. And so then for my downline, we're going to make this card next week in a Zoom meeting. And then I made a bunch of other ones. This is a sympathy card that I'm going to be needing real soon. And this is using the Ornate style, Ornate Garden Designer Series paper. And then this is using the Parisian Blossoms. May Your Heart Find the Peace It Needs. This is also a sympathy card. And then this is, again, the Ornate Suite using the daisies. I think this turned out just gorgeous. I love that. But this is the card we're going to do today. And this is using the Bird Ballad Designer Series paper and the Free as a Bird stamp set. So, as you can see, and it's really, really quick and easy to put together and very unique. So we're going to start out with a card base that is a quarter sheet, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then we're going to need one piece for the inside that's 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And then we're going to need a large oval, and we're going to need the Stitch So Sweetly. That's going to go right in here. And I'm going to cut that one for you just to show you. And then we're going to need a piece of the Designer Series paper that is 12 inches by 4 inches. And it's going to be scored, and I'll show you how to score it. So we're going to score it at, get everything else out of the way, sorry. That's typical of my desk. So we're going to score it at 2.5 inches and 7 3/4 inches. And 11 inches. So 2.5, 7 3/4, and 11. So the 11-inch score line will be folded to the back. So here is the 11-inch piece, and that's going to be folded to the back. And then these two will be folded to the front. So we're going to score that there, score that there, and you have your card. That's the basis of your card. So the first thing we're going to do, we have a piece of paper that is 3/8 inch by 4 inches, and I'm going to pick up the wrong one. I'm going to add some adhesive and put that right there so that it holds that little lip down. So then the next thing we're going to do is put the Whisper White piece that's 5 by 3 3/4 on the inside. And right here. Now this is going to be a thank you card, and the inside is going to say, "Your friendship means the world to me." So I'm going to stamp that in black Tuxedo Black Memento ink on the inside. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut using the Stitch So Sweetly. I love those. I really do. I am really gone on these Stitch So Sweetly dies. I use them a lot, and there's small ones and larger ones, and they're getting a lot of use. So now we have that cut, and as you can see, it's stitched. A big shot out of here. So we're going to stamp the bird in black tuxedo ink. So we're going to stamp the bird right here. And then we're going to stamp the thank you. That will fit right in there. Perfect. Then I'm going to use the Pool Party Light and Dark and the Mango Melody to color the bird. So I'm going to start with the darker color and do the highlights. You can see that's kind of like the shadows, just a little bit of dark around. And then I'm going to take my other end and color in and just kind of blend those together. And I'm coloring him blue because it matches the paper. Isn't he pretty? And then his beak needs to be mango. I think it turned out really cute. So now I'm going to attach this to the large oval. This is the largest oval in the layering oval frame dies. And then this is going to be placed here. And I'm going to add some dimensionals just to the top because, of course, I don't want to, if I put it on the bottom, then it would close it up and you wouldn't be able to open up the inside of the card. Been there, done that. If it can be done, I've done it. Okay, so this goes here. And then I have a piece of the Calypso coral ribbon that comes with the Ornate Suite, and I'm going to tie that in a square knot. What is it about getting in front of the camera and you can't, your fingers are all thumbs? use my ribbon scissors and trim that off, and then I'm going to use a mini glue dot. And that's going to go right there. And then I'm going to use a couple of the champagne rhinestones. And the last thing is just to put it on the card base. So I'm using the Pool Party card base that's 5.5 by 4 1/4. And it's done. So there we go. Isn't that beautiful? So when you send me your order, if you will tell me whether you want the kit or if you would like the kits or the completed cards, I will complete the cards for you if you want. And then if you wish, and then if you could have your orders to me by Prineville Thursday and Saturday for the Portland Club. Thank you. Enjoy. Have a good day. Bye.